Discovering your purpose can be exhausting. Trying to please everyone can be crippling, and keeping up can feel impossible. But God flips the script by transforming the way we think as we all wonder, what was I made for?
Hey everyone, my name is Isabel and I'm so glad you're here today. You picked the perfect time to hang out with us as we're in week 3 of our series called What Was I Made For? Over the past few weeks, we've been talking all about identity and seeing ourselves as God sees us. To get us started, I'd love to know who in here plays Fortnite. I knew we'd have some in here. On the count of 3, I'd love to know what everyone's level is in Fortnite. Yell it out. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. It's such a fun game, and it's crazy to see how it continues to take the world of gaming to the next level. That's what makes the game so fun, leveling up. How many of you are totally fine with the level you're currently in at Fortnite? I mean, if you never played again, you would be okay with your current level. No, you would not. That's the whole point of the game, to get to the next level. There's always a chance to move up to the next level. It's why we keep playing it. There's always another way to level up our character. V-Bucks are everywhere. We ask for them for birthdays and Christmas. There's always another skin to buy, features to earn, and skills to unlock. We all want to level up. If you play sports, you want to level up in your sport. There's always a higher level travel team to make, another championship to win, or a starting position to learn. If you play an instrument, you want to level up. You want to be the first chair in competition. You want to score the maximum number of points. You want a standing ovation at the end of your recital. Leveling up is a part of life. We spend hours, days, weeks, and in some cases, years trying to level up. Now, there's nothing wrong with leveling up. In most cases, no one wants to level down. In fact, if we're honest, sometimes it's pretty embarrassing to level down. So leveling up isn't a bad thing. A lot of times we're encouraged to level up, and we're celebrated when we do. You should try to be the best at whatever you are doing. Spending your time becoming great at something is a good thing. And like we just saw, being celebrated for it is a good thing too. But when how you think about your level or what you can do or achieve becomes your identity, that's a problem. When our talents or what we're good at begin to be the only things we're known for, that's when we start having an identity problem. When our achievements or the things we've done become the best things about us, we begin to have an identity problem. When how many followers we have on social media is where we find our value, again, an identity problem. When we find our value and worth in what we do, we're setting ourselves up for failure. We quickly become only as good as what we do and how well we do it. We begin building the foundation of our lives on something that is temporary, something that won't be there forever. What we eventually discover is that we'll never be truly satisfied in achieving the next level. We may be satisfied for a little while, but there will always be another level to get to. But we must answer the question, why do we so badly want to make it to the next level? Most of the time, our desire for the next level is rooted in a few things. For some of us, maybe we don't feel good enough, so we work hard to make sure we look good enough or we perform well enough. For others, maybe we don't feel loved enough, so we take things to the next level in our relationships with our family, friends, and others, because it makes us feel better about ourselves. For some of us, maybe we don't feel like we can be our true selves, so we spend our time building a fake version of ourselves who looks like they have it all together. Oftentimes, we feel like if anyone knew who we really were, they wouldn't like us or accept us. So we hide behind our accomplishments and create an almost fake version of ourselves to show others. This can keep everyone, including God, at a distance. It's a way to protect our image, to make sure that we're seen as good enough. But is that really what's best? We aren't the first group of people to struggle with this. In fact, Paul, who wrote most of the New Testament, had something to say about that. Paul wrote a letter to the church in Colossae, and it's obvious he wanted to make sure the Colossians were reminded of how to keep this problem in check. Paul knew that if they fell into the trap of constantly trying to level up, they'd forget who they are. They'd forget what God says about them, and maybe even what God had already done for them. I think we could read this today and discover the healthiest perspective for us to have about our identity. In the letter, Paul wrote the following: "For through him God created everything in the heavenly realms and on earth. He made the things we can see and the things we can't see, such as thrones, kingdoms, rulers, and authorities in the unseen world. Everything was created through him and for him." Paul was making sure that we have the proper perspective. He wrote that God is an all-powerful creator. Paul said that all things in heaven and earth were created by God. Everything we see and everything we cannot see, God created. In fact, it wasn't just created by God. It was already created for God, and that includes you. You were created for God as well. And since God created you, don't you think God cares about you? You were created in the image of your Creator, and your Creator is love. God is love. You were created by God to love and be loved. Here's the thing, your image has already been established. It has already been created. When God looks at you, God sees you as God's child, forgiven, blameless, accepted, worthy, significant, valued, and loved. And there's even more. Because of Jesus' death and the cross, we don't have to try and level up. God has already done that leveling up for us. Jesus' death and resurrection were God's way of saying you are worthy. You don't have to keep chasing this never-ending road of trying to level up. You don't have to keep trying to be good enough. You are enough because Jesus' death and resurrection say you are enough. The truth you can tell yourself is this: I am for more than what I do. So in the light of this amazing truth, let me ask you two really important questions. First is your view of yourself, shaped by what you do instead of who you are. Are you spending so much time trying to get to the next level only to reach it and not be satisfied? Only to find yourself trying harder and striving for the next level? If you're doing your accomplishments, talents, achievements, followers has become what makes you valuable, what happens if you can't or don't do it anymore? And second, are you building your life on something really temporary? You may be thinking, I'm a teenager. Chill out. I have a lot of life ahead of me. True, we have a lot of living to do, but now is when we're building the foundation for the rest of our lives. My life, your life, can't just be built on temporary things. It makes sense to place our identity in something or someone so much better and so much stronger than achievement, or popularity, or status. Someone who is worthy of your attention, your talents, and your accomplishments. Someone who looks at you and sees you're worth it. Someone who sees you as worthy regardless of your accomplishments or failures. The one who created you, God. Because at the end of the day, this is the truth. We can believe for ourselves. I am made for more than what I do. In your small group, think about this. When God looks at you, what do you think God sees?